tried to think of myself as someone who looks at the world from a different perspective, from perspective of opportunity. And I think everyone has some kind of skill or power, superpower, if you will, that many of us don't really realize it until later. I always felt misunderstood when I was young, and it was one of the reasons that I left. I spent the last 10 years building my business, multiple businesses. And I look back now and I was like, I wish I had a co-founder. When you can see something, when you can see a vision like in your head, you close your eyes and like, I can see it happening. It's there. Just keep going. As long as you can see that vision, you will ultimately come to a point where you can touch it, where it becomes a reality. Honestly, as long as I'm the craziest person, I'm going to be happy. I believe everything in this world is transactional, whether you like it or not. Life, now more than ever, is changing in such an incredible way that we can't even predict the 2 years, let alone the next 10 years. Today, it's easier than ever to be able to build an online business and make money online. You could most likely figure out a way to level up your life before it even started.
Yes, welcome to a new episode of the podcast Muscle Up. My name is Jim Stone.
My name is Mees Jansen.
And we're now at episode 8 of season 6 in Bali. It's been a nice ride so far. Definitely thanks to everyone who is listening and who wanted to be a guest in our podcast. We feel definitely honored. Give us a 5-star review on Spotify or YouTube or whatever if you like the podcast. And I would say without further ado, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah, we actually just recorded a podcast before this one, so I'm doing the same.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be a hectic last few days. We've got a lot of things planned, but yeah, that's good. I like that.
Nice.
How are you doing?
I'm also doing pretty good. Yeah, like you said, it's pretty busy, hectic last few days, but I found out that I'm working really well under pressure. So it's fucking great, man. And we're not alone. Introduce yourself. Who are you?
Leo Bassam, head of brand at ClickUp.
Nice. And how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, this was last minute for me as well. So.
Yeah, true.
Like, hey, Leo, do you want to do a podcast in a minute? I was like, okay.
Okay, fuck it.
Let's go for it, yeah.
But you had to reschedule some things, right?
I had, yeah.
Nice. Feel honored, man. Thanks, definitely.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. What made you do it?
We're getting into this ourselves as well, me and my friend, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to get the ball rolling, and exercise, if you know what I mean. Put the reps in.
Nice.
That's good.
Nice. And you want to do it yourself? In what way?
In interesting new ways, point of view. So like the camera wouldn't be necessarily on me, but it would be on the person, and it would be like only showing my hands kind of thing. Carpool, which proven to work very well before, something I want to experiment with. Initially, actually, believe it or not, I thought about this when I was in LA, and I had this Jeep and I bought cameras all over. And I was like, what if I pick up people from the street, just random people? It's like, hey, beep, do you want to come in and have a conversation and just talk about life and things like that? Because honestly, I believe that everybody you don't know knows something you don't know.
True.
It's like everyone you meet would know something you don't know. So talk to people, see what you can actually learn. You would learn something from everybody. And the moment I was going to do it, like the day I was going to do it, I had pink eye from a bad Airbnb experience. So I couldn't do anything for an entire 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And I left LA.
That sucks.
So I didn't have the chance to do it. But yeah.
Nice. There's this quote, I think it's from Plato. The true knowledge is knowing that you know nothing.
Yeah.
I think it fits really well.
Yeah.
Well, we always start the podcast with one question. Who are you and what do you do?
I tried to think of myself as someone who looks at the world from a different perspective, from perspective of opportunity. Try and find things to improve, trying to find ways to allow, empower people who don't believe that they're empowered. And I started my journey when I was about 12, 14 years old with wanting a dog. I wanted a dog so bad at a young age, and my parents wouldn't let me have one. So I rebelled and I started learning how to code to build websites so I can actually do something else that connects these dogs with people who can have them. And that's where my journey started, is about helping. And until today, like a couple of decades on, I am true to that to that kind of mission, if you know what I mean. And even the businesses that I've started afterwards were like at the roots of them, at the heart, was about helping and empowering those who can't or don't think that they have that in them to build, to take the first step. So yeah, I feel like I'd like to be this empowerer, if you know what I mean, yeah.
It's nice to hear. It's very specific, I would say. I mean, if I would think of myself as a 12-year-old boy and thought, well, I like dogs, I want a dog, and I want people who want dogs to connect with dogs, I would firstly go to a house, ring on the doorbell and say, you want a dog? I know someone who has a dog. I wouldn't think of, oh, let's build a website and connect people. Mm-hmm. Where did this specialty, this talent, we could call it talent, or this this interest come from?
Like, I believe everyone is born with some kind of a way, like everyone looks at, and scientifically proven as well, like everyone looks at the world in, like you see the colors differently. No one looks at the world in the same way, right? And it also is the same thing when it comes from within. Like, I think everyone has some kind of skill or power, superpower, if you will, that many of us don't really realize it until later, don't tap into it until later. And some tap into it from a young age. You hear stories of like a young 12, 11 years old, I don't know, selling a business for $1 million. And you hear a story for 12, something years old who's still in school, not doing anything. So, but later on, he sold it or she sold it for a while, for a lot of money. So we all have that in us. It's just that sometimes it takes time for some people to realize that. And I feel for me personally, I was one of those people who tapped into it from a very young age, and I was able to see the world from a different perspective. Yeah.
That's nice.
Where did this come from, that you see the world from a different perspective?
I don't know. I think it's, like I said, it's something that is built into you. And I guess the environment that you're brought up within kind of also shapes that. Because I think, depending on what you're going through as a youngster, you maybe rebel, you could submit, or you could become a rebellious. So, and I was a bad kid at school, not in a bad way in harming people, but in against the rules. Like, I was always breaking rules. And I just believed like whatever we are told shouldn't be what we should be doing. And instead, what we're told should be something that we take as a benchmark, not as a rule. We take these benchmarks and we experiment with them, see what else there is, like what else outside in the world, right? So I had that I was a rebellious boy from a very young age. And I think that helped me really figure out the world in a different way, from a different perspective,
I think seeing the world from a different perspective obviously has its positive side, but it may also have a downside, especially when you're a kid. Were there moments where you felt misunderstood?
I always felt misunderstood when I was young, and it was one of the reasons that I left where I was brought up. I was brought up in Dubai, and at the time, Dubai wasn't as it is today. Today is freaking amazing. I would recommend everyone who's trying to start a business or experiment with something that you can't experiment with in Europe or other places that has a lot of regulations to go to Dubai, because they do have regulations, but not over-regulated. You know what I mean? So you can, if you want to start experimenting with flying taxis, you won't be able to do that in Europe, not for another 100 years. So I'd go to Dubai and experiment that in Dubai, right? But at the time, Dubai was different, and I didn't feel like I belonged there, right? So I left. I left to the UK when I was 18, and that's where I was able to kind of expand my horizon, see what's out there, and I think that did me very good. And now I went back to Dubai 10 years later, and it was great for sure. But moving out was a difficult step, but it was needed. Otherwise, I would have most likely been sucked back into the norm, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
we made very big steps. 10 years. If you go back to the Leo who was, let's say, 17, 16, what were challenges around that age?
I think if you're trying to, in a way, learn from what I had before, I don't think it applies to today, because I think today is a different world entirely. Especially that the access that someone at 14 in my age back in the day didn't have access to today, which is AI, for example, right? So it's a different world, different ball game entirely. But if there is anything that was challenging, is me having to do everything on my own, because no one around me trusted what I was talking about. No one around me kind of believed in what I'm talking about. And as a matter of fact, I don't think anyone understood what I meant by, hey, I want to build this and I want to do that. It's like, what do you mean you want to do this? You can't do this. You can't build this. This is not meant for you. This is meant for like someone else, in that sense. You're meant to go to school, get A's in math, which I failed 3 times, by the way, and so on. But I didn't believe in that, right? So the challenge that could have, like, if I had people who believed in me from that age, it would have changed the game. I would have been somewhere entirely different. It would have accelerated my journey dramatically, right? And that's one of the learnings. So I spent the last 10 years building my business, multiple businesses. And I look back now and I was like, I wish I had a co-founder. I wish I had a couple of other people that can help me, fill out the other gaps instead of me having to learn every single aspect of the business. I wish I had these other people with me in this journey. But having that experience from a young age, it kind of pushed me to just do everything on my own. Don't trust anybody. You don't need anyone, which ultimately, like today, is my belief is the opposite. If you want to start something new, do not do it alone. You cannot you can do something on your own, but if you want to take it to a scale, because you're going to hit a ceiling. But if you want to scale it, you have to scale yourself as well. And that means ultimately co-founders and other people to join you on that journey. So you cannot do it on your own, for sure.
How did you start believing in yourself when others didn't believe in you? I think that can be very difficult.
Vision. Look, when you can see something, when you can see a vision, like in your head, you close your eyes and like, I can see it. I can see it happening. It's there. Just keep going. As long as you can see that vision, you will ultimately come to a point where you can touch it, where it becomes a reality. So that belief, that vision, is what drove me.
Did you speak English when you were leaving Dubai?
No, I did not.
Then you went to live in the UK, lived there for 10 years. Mm-hmm. And when I met you, I thought, he's from the US or from England. Your English is really good. You're really good with words, and you've got your answers right off the spot. It sounds like you've thought everything through.
See, it comes down to two things. Number one is that I had to start I started my business when I was very young, and I worked with clients all over the world, from people from Australia, from the States, from England. So I learned English by myself by talking to customers, not from school, not from an online course or anything like that. And maybe that's why my accent's a bit all over the place. No one can actually guess it because I picked up something from everywhere, right? So that definitely contributed towards me learning English. And number two was basically when you say I'm kind of comfortable with what I say, and I say in a very articulate way, it's because I believe in what I'm saying. I know what I'm talking about, and I'm talking about it like I know it from the back of my hand, right? When you know what you're talking about, it will just flow. It will just come out super nice. I have ADHD and I talk very fast. So when at dinner, I won't shut up. So in a setting like this, I try and relax, but it will come a time when I go crazy and you won't have a chance to talk. So you probably spoke too early.
All right. Let's see. Because I wanted to make a point. I think, can we dive deeper into the business you said?
Sure.
We can?
Yeah.
Okay. What was it?
So Plutio is an all-in-one business management that helps freelancers run their business. So invoicing, contracts, proposals, schedulers, forms, you name it, we have it. And I started this 10 years ago. And at the time when I built this, there was necessarily not necessarily need for it. Everyone used a different tool. Somebody like a normal freelancer would use an invoicing tool, another tool for proposals, another one for scheduling, and it was perfectly fine. But I saw a world where it wasn't fine, and we needed a super app. We needed like an app that has everything in one, right? Because again, vision. You can see what's around right now. You can see the struggle, and then you can envision a better way to do it in the future. And although the future is 10 years on, I prepared for it from then. And I started building that super app, the app of everything, basically, the all-in-one app. And when I pitched it to people, it was like, I think you're crazy. You can't just build everything. You can't replace everything. It's just impossible. It's like, no, you can. I can see it. I can see it happening. And I predicted that it will come a time when apps and companies will start consolidating everything into one. So an app that does X will not only do X anymore, it will also allow you to do Y and Z and so on. So I saw that and I just worked towards it. And today, Plutio is more relevant than ever before. and hopefully with us focusing on marketing very soon, it will kick off for sure.
I actually have a question about this because you can obviously have a super app which has everything in one, but then you're
Not
like
focused.
you have to. It's not focused. You have to divide your attention to multiple different aspects of the app.
Yeah.
You also have. You can also have an app which does one thing very well. Why do you think it's better to have a super app that does everything?
There is the saying, which I am assuming you don't know the rest of. The jack of all trade is a master of none. But do you feel like this is it? That's the saying? It isn't. There's a continuous. And I don't think I can remember the continuous because of my dyslexia, but it goes around, if you actually Google it right now,
I can Google it.
or pull it up in ChatGPT. So there's actually a continuous to that saying. But for some reason, all of us only hear the first part. We don't know about the second part, right?
But a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
Exactly.
Oh wow!
Exactly.
I also didn't know that second part.
And I didn't know it until recently as well. But that kind of proved my point from that young age when I came up with the idea. Look, you can be a master of one, and you should be if you're going into, I don't know, engineering, or you're a plumber, or a doctor. You know, you just focus on your area. If you're a surgeon, it's like understandable, number one, and it's expected of you to be focused, because if you want to go to a surgeon, a brain surgeon, for example, you would want that brain surgeon to know exactly what they're talking about, and just all they do is brain. Like you want to go into their room and everything you want to see around is brain, right? But if you go to a brain surgeon that has lungs and feet and legs and God knows what, would you actually feel as comfortable? No, you wouldn't, right? So what I'm trying to say is, it is okay for some people or some apps or some tools to be super focused, but there's also the other aspect where we're trying to solve a particular problem in this instant. The problem is having to juggle between all of your apps, having to waste a lot of time trying to find, where did I post this file? Was it Slack? Was it Discord? Was it email? Oh no, SMS or WhatsApp. You know what I'm saying? So there is a problem, and we were trying to solve for that problem. But the only way to solve for that problem is by understanding all aspects of the business and trying to connect it together, not to 100%. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but 90% is okay. Because if you balance things out, it solves a bigger problem, which is saving you money, and it's also saving you time, and it consolidating everything and building a better relationship with your clients, and so on and so on. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. I think you answered it really well. But wasn't it really difficult to build an MVP, or really expensive to build an MVP for an app that does everything, or did you start with an app that did one thing and then broadened along the way?
See, the thing is, that's the thing. I didn't build an MVP.
I just built the final product.
Exactly. I just kept building and building and building for 10 years, right? Knowing that the time will come, right? So I was in it for the long game. I wasn't in it for like, oh, in the next couple of days, I'm just going to launch it and hope for the best. I had a long-term strategy. Like you buy a property and you were hoping that in 5-10 years from now, you would sell it and make, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000, $100,000 if it comes to the crunch. For me, my investment was a bit different, right? And yeah, that was it. So like in a sense where I didn't really build an MVP, but I wish I had in a way, right? In a way, because it kind of it could have helped me basically build a business and scale on that business, grow on that business bit by bit, as opposed to. But yeah, it's an interesting question, hard to answer, because the problem I was trying to solve cannot be solved until every app is replaced.
Yeah,
and you can't do that in such a short period of time without any money. We raised zero money. I had to do it from my own. I had 3-4 jobs when I first started this. I'm doing my design studio at the time, and I was consultant for a company in London, and I was doing Airbnb and a couple of other things, clients on the side, just to fund the first development of this. But yeah,
I think it's a big risk to like invest in it for like 10 years and then hope that the time will come. How did you do any market validation?
I did market validation with AppSumo. Are you aware of AppSumo?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
Are you?
No.
So AppSumo is basically a marketplace with, let's say, a couple of millions of reach across all of their channels. And what they do is like they allow founders to come on their platform, and they will potentially push your app, launch it on their platform, and push it to everybody on their platform, all their audience. They will run ads, marketing campaigns, emails, social, you name it. And the idea is to try and basically sell as many coupon codes as possible. What I mean by that is coupon code is it's a lifetime deal. So you say, okay, here's my app. Let's put it on your platform. We will offer an exclusive lifetime deal to your audience. So then AppSumo launches it with a lifetime deal to their audience. You know what I'm saying?
I think I've seen some ads from it. Yeah, I think I remember.
You most likely did. Yeah, if you're into SaaS and you look up apps and things like that. And I think it's a fantastic platform, because if you're building something for the first time and you feel it's relevant to the industry, business owners, founders, freelancers, marketeers, agencies, a platform like AppSumo allows you to basically launch your MVP and make seed investments from it without having to give any equity at all, right? So it was a great decision that I've made, which is launching with them. We actually made, I think, $250,000 in our first launch back in 2017. Overall, we made over $1 million throughout all the sales, and we're doing another one 2 months from now that I'm hoping will break the records of all time. And we actually won a couple of awards, and we did break the records with the amount of sales that we made in a short period of time, which is like a week, and you make nearly $1 million. It was incredible. Yeah.
I think it makes you happy.
It does. It makes me happy because I know I don't have to rely on pitching to investors and convincing people like, hey, believe in my vision. No. But it make me happy because I was able to convince customers, that, hey, believe in me. And they did. When I first launched Plutio, it was literally nothing but a task system that you can create a task, complete it, add a comment on it, and that was it. But I did not sell them a task system. I sold them a vision. I went on a video and I said, look, here's what we have right now. But what we are going to have in the very soon future is this, and that. And that's why we were able to make the $250,000. Not from a buggy task system that we launched with them, but it was the vision. And that honestly what drove me from day one is having to wake up and then like, okay, what I'm going to build to these people that believe in me. You know what I'm saying? And they're the ones who helped me shape the future of it as well. They're the ones who gave me the opportunity. And I'm giving it back in that sense. So yeah, it definitely makes me happy.
It makes you happy that people believe in you, believe in your vision. Did you had a period in life where people didn't believe in you, or you had a hard time with it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that contributes to happiness. But the fact that I can actually build what I'm seeing in my head and turn it into reality, that is, I think, happiness as well.
And that is your source of happiness today.
Mm-hmm.
And if you compare the Leo from 18 years old to the Leo today, what's the biggest difference?
Not as depressed.
Okay.
For sure. I thought I had chronic depression. I was like down every other day, depressed, honestly, like really bad. And I would go to doctors like, hey, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? I've never taken pills. They prescribed me a lot of pills, never taken any. But I realized depression isn't chronic. It isn't permanent. Most of the time, I think you can really solve it by finding the triggers. What triggers it? Number one, and why is it there in the first place? Like it's a reaction to something. It's not just there. No, I think it's like a consequence, right? And once you know what that trigger is, and you start like crushing them one by one, you ultimately would not have it anymore. Obviously, we're humans, so we're gonna have our down times from time to time. But I have not felt that depression for a long time.
And what made you push through that depression?
Push through it. I honestly, every chapter or every part, like every year or every so often, is a different reason. Because we as humans, we as people, we change. and our goals change, our, look into the world changes, the people around us changes. And it was always different. It wasn't one thing or a couple of things that kept me going, but for every part, for every chapter of the journey, it was a different element.
I find you a very charismatic, mysterious person. You're pretty difficult to read. Do you do it on purpose?
I do not. It's just one of the skills that I had to build to be able to sell myself, to be able to, sell my services, sell my vision, and so on. And I guess it's one of, let's say, a protection mechanism from the people that I faced throughout the years, because believe it or not, there are people who you trust and they will just stab you in the back. And it happened so often to the level, but I don't want to lose my trust with people. Because you have to work with people. You have to understand them. You have to surround yourself with them, because it's something I said before is like, money can make you comfortable, maybe give you some access, but people are keys. People are the keys to the doors that you might not even know existed. And because of the understanding that people have to be around you, you can't just, discard all of them because of 10 or 20 bad experiences that ruined you in that sense. So because of that understanding, I had to figure out a way to work with people and don't kind of take that baggage from before into the next person, but start fresh with the next person, right? And just have a process of some sort. Like, okay, you meet somebody new, you trust, you verify, and you see how things go, but don't just completely give on or give in, right? So you learn, but you definitely should not just disregard everybody just from a couple of experiences.
Do you feel like it's a mask you're holding on?
It's not a mask, no, because if we just met and actually talked, but I keep my circles close, and I know who's around me. I know the energies that I keep around me, and I strongly believe in energies because I feel it. Most of people that you would ask that are around me would tell you a different story, because it isn't a mask. It's just that getting to know me, right? Once you get to know me and get to know who that person is and why he does these things, and you will tell a different story. You'll see a different person in that sense, but it's not a mask, because I'm happy to continue talking to you for another day, and then you will see exactly, it's just not a mask, it's just getting to know me.
Mm-hmm. Who are you to the people who know you? How will they describe you?
There's one here that we can ask, but...
Yeah, he can answer. I mean, he can sit next to you if you want.
But I guess it's about, crazy. I am one of the craziest people that they know. I am the craziest person of ideas, unpredictable. So you never know if something's going to happen or not in that sense. Like what is going to be next, right? You'll be on your toes. Like even if we go to dinner, there'll be something's going to happen. Am I going to get a fake birthday singers or something like that? So there's always something, right? Never harming anybody, always in a good way, for sure. And I'm always there to help. I'm always there to listen. And I feel, honestly, as long as I'm the craziest person, I'm going to be happy. Because that's what I'd like to be, the craziest one, right? In a good way. The one who comes up with the ideas that would potentially change the game for many. Yeah.
Why? Why do you want to be the craziest person?
Because I believe, especially in today's world, look, what used to kill us is what is keeping us alive today. And what I mean by that, if you look back into history, you will notice that if you question society, if you stood out, if you would try to be unique or have your own opinion, for God's sake, you would get punished, exiled, or most likely killed, right? In today's world, though, the rules of survival has changed, where if you're not unique, if you're not if you don't have your own opinions, strong opinions that you would, push them out in the open, and if you are not standing out, you're going to vanish. You're going to literally vanish. No one's going to know about you. You're going to disappear into the noise that is going on right now. So I am trying to be as crazy as possible, and hearing it from my friend, keep me on track, making sure that I'm always a step ahead in being crazy. Because crazy is what's going to get you places today. Crazy is what's going to keep you in the spotlight and make sure that people are seeing you, your ideas are being heard, and your vision is being respected. And that's why.
So I think it all comes back to business.
Look, I believe everything in this world is transactional, whether you like it or not. Everything we do, the reason we are sitting today here is a transaction. I want something from this, you want something from this. Not necessarily in a bad way, don't get me wrong. It's a transaction, right? So there are things, some people donate money, some people do things in certain ways with something in return. Whether you talk about it or not, there is a transaction. For me, being like, I don't know, seeing these ideas become reality, these visions becomes reality. The crazier the idea, the better. This is how I keep myself happy. And we were actually discussing this the other day with my friends. I host these co-working sessions in my villa. I invite a lot of my friends for free. I will get you the desks, the standing desks, the chairs, hopefully good internet. We didn't have good internet last time, but trying next time. Free food and so on. Like why, right? And they don't actually question that as much because they know who I am and why I do these things. It's people I know for a while. But when someone new comes in and it was like, why are you doing this? I'm like, because it makes me happy. That is the transaction. You come in, you work, you do your thing, and just you being around me like this, that energy is what fuels me and makes me happy. And that's why I do it.
What's the purpose in life?
Everyone has a purpose.
What's yours?
My purpose in life, I guess, just being the craziest person.
Yeah? Is it about being happy?
Well, look, again, like happiness happiness comes from different forms, right? It can be anything in that sense. But as long as you define what happiness is, like I said in one of the videos, is as long as you define what is success, happiness will follow. If you follow someone else's success, you're always going to be chasing it. You're never going to be happy because even if you reached it, you're going to feel unfulfilled. You're going to feel like you haven't filled anything. It's like, okay, now I've hit that checkbox of someone else's, checkboxes, and I don't feel anything. I don't feel that happiness. So as long as you realize, as long as you're true to yourself, you know why you're doing this, you will stay happy. You'll remain happy in that sense. And the proof to this is I'm not freaking depressed anymore. You know what I'm saying?
The fact that you want to be the craziest person, do you think that you are seeking some external validation with that?
We all seek validation, believe it or not. Whether you lie to yourself or not, you do seek validation. Whether to, secure a date or secure a business lead or whatever, you do need that validation in some form or another, right? Yes, I do want validation like everyone else on this planet. But validation isn't really necessarily like my top priority here, right? Because again, look, when I started my Plutio back 10 years ago, I didn't have validation. I tried to seek it. I went to a couple of investors. I talked to a couple of people. They gave me the opposite of validation. They gave me like, you are nuts. Yeah, I'm not validating this for you, right? And so I did not have validation for a long time, but that did not stop me. So it isn't necessarily what I'm looking for. It's a bonus, but it definitely isn't.
Do you want to prove them wrong?
No, I actually don't. And if that's, I hear people say that from time to time. But if you go on a mission and make your life's purpose to prove others wrong, then you're on the wrong path, my friend. You're not on the right path because you're not doing it for yourself. And this reminds me of a saying that hit me so hard. Hit me so hard, not because I was in it necessarily, because I saw friends that were in it. And it's only then when I was like, oh, wow. We work jobs we don't like to,
impress people. I know.
Would you like to say it?
No, I can't finish it, but I know the saying.
Exactly. So when I heard that, I'm like, wow.
Maybe you finish it for the listener.
Well, I can't remember it.
we work jobs we don't like to impress people we don't even...
No. So we work jobs we don't like to buy things we don't need to impress people we don't like?
Yeah, I think it's something like that, yeah.
Or people that don't care.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it goes along the lines, we work jobs we don't like to buy things we don't need to impress people that don't care. And look, if you zoom out and you look at society today, or ever, it's been like that. We buy Gucci bags and God knows what. we don't actually need the Gucci bag. I mean, if you reverse engineer the whole thing, what is a Gucci bag? It's literally a bag that is worth the same fake bag that you would buy from a store here in Bali. It's probably using the same material, manufactured by the same people or similar, right? But they just add that price tag. So look, as long as you realize that and you're aware of it and you're not lying to yourself, I think you've got it sorted, for sure.
Are you religious?
I was.
And what religion?
Is my parents going to see this? Muslim.
Muslim. What made you switch?
Well, I haven't really switched. I have opened my mind. Like, everyone sees religion a different way, and religion isn't really a bad thing. It gives some people purpose, right? And because without purpose, you're nothing in that way, and some people commit suicide because of that. Because like, what am I doing, on this life? So religion isn't a bad way. It's just that, unfortunately, religion it's a tool, I believe. And unfortunately, that tool has been used by the wrong people for their own gains, to make money from it, to make power, to gain power, and so on. So seeing that kind of made me realize, okay, it's not a tool that I want to use. I think I can make something else my purpose, and something else my belief. And it all comes down to just honestly being good. Like, you don't need to harm people. You just be good to people, be good to everyone around you. Try and give. Like, one of the things that I'm so into right now is seeing people with potential, take them in and help open doors for them, help them take the first step, and just seeing them grow to the next and the next step. That is, to me, is so, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it is, in a way, like God talked to you. You know what I mean? Like, it's so satisfying. And I feel because you do that with that expectation in return, but if you do that, it will come back to you in the same form, right? And it actually did. It did. It definitely did. And I'm so grateful that I was able to do that and to find some people who can do that in return for me as well.
We know each other from the gym.
Yeah.
You came up to me. I was totally in my own world, so I was a little bit. No, it's fine. I like it if people connect. It's nice. That makes me happy. You came up to me for calisthenics lessons. Was it purely for calisthenics, or was it with the thought that you just spoke out?
What spoke out? What do you mean?
That you like to see people grow, or like to see people fulfill their opportunity or something?
Calisthenics is more for me than anything. I feel there is, like, when you have a feeling telling you like you need to do it, and I just have that feeling like I need to get into it. I don't understand why, but it's like a journey that I want to go on and find out what is to get from it.
Yeah, nice to hear. Thank you. You also said that you keep your circle very close, and I think you're also very selective with your time, because your time, I think, is precious. So once again, thank you for being on this podcast.
Of course.
Once again, what made you do it?
Again, like I said before, we are getting into something like that. So it'd be great to learn from you guys as well. And look, I used to talk on stage all the time, a long time ago, like over 10 years ago. And I had that confidence. And joining ClickUp over 2 years ago, I spoke for the first time in a long time in front of the entire company. It was like 1,000 odd people live streaming. And I started shaking. I was like, shit, I don't have that confidence anymore. Like, I don't have what I thought I had, which is basically, being able to public speaking, like just go on a stage in front of a lot of people and talk. And it hit me. It was like, not because you necessarily knew how to do something, you will know it, you know how to do it forever. If you play guitar, piano, whatever, you will have to keep practicing. If you stop practicing, you can't just get back to it from day one. You have to get back into it. Even with calisthenics, I'm assuming, in the gym. And that's when it actually hit me. And I was like, okay, I need to slowly get back into this and take every opportunity that allows me to speak in front of more than one person. And this is an opportunity. And I'm just diving into it.
Right. Would you say that it is more important to be a good talker or to be a good listener?
Both. A balance of both. It's never one or the other. It's never the extreme. You can't, again, if you are on this end of the extreme, it's extreme, and then if this extreme is extreme, is having that right balance in the middle is what would make you, is what's your competitive advantage, right? There are really great listeners, but bad talkers, and great talkers, but bad listeners. The one in the middle is the one with the competitive advantage that can do both of them very nicely. And I feel I am more on a talker side, but not on the extreme. I do listen, but I'm not of a great listener. I do work on it. I know that I'm not. And I do stop myself sometimes when, I start kind of breaking people when they talk. But I am kind of trying to fixate that in the middle. It's fluctuating.
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 Yeah. How do you work on both?
Number one, you need to understand where you're working towards and what you're missing, right? So me realizing that I talk a lot and I listen little. But to be fair, I don't listen little to everybody. I listen little to youngers, but I listen more to the eldest, right? Because I feel there's more to learn in that sense. Maybe not, maybe I'm mistaken, but that's a journey I'm on right now. But I work on it by keeping myself disciplined in the sense of like when I have a conversation with people, in my head, I'm like, okay, listen, talk. But as soon as I get aware of like, oh, I'm talking over them, I stop myself, right? So it's training yourself. It's not going to happen overnight, but you keep telling yourself that. And if it's in your subconscious and you train it to come to your conscious when needed, it will just happen. And before you know it, you're now in the middle, right? So like it's the same thing with your sleep. If you put the alarm on every single day, I don't think you're doing it right, because you can train your body to wake up at a certain time and sleep at a certain time. All it needs is for you to talk to it. A lot of people listen to their bodies, fantastic, but not a lot of us talk to our bodies, right? I don't think a lot of us actually learned that yet, but you can. You listen to your body and you can talk to it as well. You can train it. And so it's the same thing here.
Okay, I've got one last question before you ask one, because I know you have one, I think. You said that you get happy from helping people, right? Mm-hmm. You also said that you listen more to elderly people. Mm-hmm. Don't you think it will be good, and maybe I misunderstood you and you're working on that part right now, but won't you think it's good to listen to the younger generation? Because you were once in the spot where you were 18 and mm-hmm. people didn't listen to you and thought you were crazy. Mm-hmm. To listen more to the younger generation, because in that way you're helping someone, and it in the end makes you more happy.
Absolutely. That's what I said. It's something I am working towards.
Oh yeah, okay. Perfect.
For sure.
I want to continue on the part where you said it has to be a balance of both. Because there's obviously multiple things in life where you need balance. Mm-hmm. How do you feel is your like work and relaxing balance?
I mean, it's kind of interesting question, because I reached to a level maybe a year or two ago where I didn't really believe in work-life balance, because I'm not working to live. I'm living to work. No, sorry, I'm not living to work. I'm working to live. And I feel like as long as I keep work my passion, it just life balance is going to happen, you know? It gets time that is stressful, for sure, don't get me wrong. And most of the time you have to do things you don't want to do, especially in today's world. In my position right now, doing different things, I have to do things I don't necessarily want to do, but I have to do that sacrifice, and it comes with stress. But I don't think I've nailed that balance 100% just yet. Like, I can't just sit down on my own and meditate. It's impossible for me, right? I have to be around people. And yeah, it's something I'm still working on for sure.
Has this always been the case?
No. I used to be in cave mode most of the time when I was young. I didn't play outside. I didn't really have much friends. I was forced to like do these things, but I preferred to be in my cave, coding, building websites, and building business. So
like the monk mode.
In a way, yeah. I avoided people as much as I can, for sure. And if I interacted with them, it would be more in a rebellious way.
Do you think it's good that you went through such a period, or do you look back and think maybe I could have connected more with other people?
Look, whatever happened got me to where I am today. so I'm grateful.
Yeah.
If it happened differently, I would most likely be in a different place. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, I think you should just look at history as in, just something to something to look at and try not to repeat again if it was a bad one, right? We as humans, we fail at that, unfortunately, but yeah.
Where would you like to see yourself in 10 years?
See, that's a question always baffled me, especially with investors. Like, you pitch a business, like, hey, where do you want to see your business in 5 years? Well, I wanted to see it successful, but, help me figure it out. Like, I won't know all the answers, but life now more than ever is changing in such an incredible way that we can't even predict the 2 years, let alone the next 10 years, right? AI. And this is something we were in an AI event just a few months ago in San Francisco. And I was talking to a friend and I was like, man, do you remember when it took computers roughly 15 years to be adapted in every single home? It becomes the thing to have in every home, right? 15 years. And then it took the internet about roughly 8 to 10 years before the internet became the thing that you need to be in every home. And now, you look how the adoption level decreased. 15, 10, and AI, how long did it take before it's literally everywhere? 2 years? 3 years?
Maybe.
Nothing. In a scheme of things, nothing. And if you look at that, you will notice this graph going down in terms of adaptation. The time it takes us as humans to adopt new technology is incredibly fast. And because of that, you cannot predict 10 years anymore. You really can't. I think machines like AI and robots are just about to connect in the next 5 years or 3 to 5 years. It may be less than that, honestly. That will revolutionize a lot of things that we do. So no, I don't know what I'm going to be in 10 years. But I know what I'm going to be in the next few months or few years, a couple of years, but definitely not 10 years.
If I rearrange the question, where would you like to be personally in 10 years?
I would like to have a good amount of resources to be able to experiment with the things that would revolutionize or accelerate our journey as humans as well. I'd love to get into space. I'd love to get into teleportation. I'd love to get into science, health and things like that, all different aspects that we can make better. So instead of for example, flying on an airplane, what if you can teleport people? You know what I'm saying? Or find a different way of transportation. That's what I want to do. I want to find the next thing, the next improvement, the next evolution. And I want to be part of that next evolution of whatever it might be.
Why?
It's just the fire inside me. It's just like a calling, right? It's just, I believe it's what I'm good at. From a very, very young age, I would go into a mall or I would go into a zoo or I'd go into a restaurant or anything. I don't just eat in that restaurant. I don't just shop in that mall. I don't just do whatever, watch the animals in that zoo. No. I literally, it's so weird to explain, but it's I put a glasses on that gives me a different perspective on things. And I can see it from a different parallel. When you're told you're there is 100 or unlimited different parallels right now of us, I kind of believe in that as well, because if you see this, and it's something I forged recently, is radio waves, right? There is unlimited radio waves going through us right now. But if you take a radio and put it here and start playing with the waves, you can actually pinpoint one wave out of the unlimited ones and tone into it. So why wouldn't that be the same for the other parallel universes or worlds that we live in? If there are so many of them, there must be a way for us to tone into one of them. We are currently toned into one of them. But what if we can switch that, right? Look, call me crazy, call me impossible, but that's the internet, that's the computer, that's the Wi-Fi, that's the radio, that's all the things that we have today that we thought it was shenanigan. It was impossible back in the day, right? Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. It's a matter of time. And I want to be part of that. I want to be part of that person who basically creates the next evolution of these things.
How about a life with a woman and kids?
I don't really look into that right now. Not really. I have a purpose, and my purpose is more of a humanity thing as opposed to a family thing.
Do you feel like you're too small now?
What do you mean?
Too small in a way that you should be in a place where you're closer to this goal?
I believe I'm in the right place. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, because one of the things that I've like also hit me hard, but I learned the hard way, is that where you are right now, don't fight it. You know, keep at it. Keep doing the right things that you believe you should be doing, but don't expect things to just like abracadabra, you're now whoever, right? It will take time. It's a process. And as long as you're aware of that process and you are actually stepping, you know, like look back a year ago, where was I, right? And compare it to today. Oh, I'm doing good. I'm actually in a much better place. I have taken the next step, and I predict the next year will be the other step, right? So I am okay where I am right now because I know I'm on track, number one. And number two, I know everything happens at the right time. It is kind of crazy, but you meet people at some point in life, nothing happens. Nothing. You meet them, they're there in your circle somewhere. Someday, a year later or 2 years later, somehow it just clicks. It's the right time, not only for them, but for you, for both of you, to just come and connect again and do something together. It happens so many times that I hard to count anymore, right? But that made me realize there is a time for everything, and you can't expect everything all at once and everything right now. As long as you're aware you're on the right track and you can see it progressing, however slow it might be, you are going to get there eventually, right?
You were saying that everything is possible, it's just a matter of time. Mm-hmm. I would say you're very open-minded. Where does this come from, this open-mindedness? Because a lot of people I know definitely don't believe in that.
So what is open-mindedness? If you to define open, like being an open-minded, is someone who can look at things from different perspective. Is someone who can look at this view right now here and just don't see just palm trees and a pool, but maybe a hotel, right? I can maybe build a few of these up and then turn it into a hotel. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's just being open in the sense where like don't look at it in one way and you're fixated on that one way of looking at it. No. You basically can rotate around it and look at it from all the 360 degrees. You know what I'm saying? And I learned that, obviously, it's not something just you built in, you learn, but keep your mind open to every opinion, to every aspect, to every perspective. And I think after seeing it, like after feeling the outcome of that, I became a really strong believer. You know, like if someone tells me religion is everything, I'm like, okay, religion is everything for you. I'm open to that, you know, because I can see that happening. I can see religion playing a huge part in today's world for some people, and for other people, something else can, you know. So just be open-minded and don't be fixated, because again, everything in life is, I believe, opinionated, is subjective. Is how, you know, it's like, you like this table, but I don't like this table. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing or a wrong or a bad or a good thing. You know what I mean? Just be open about everything.
I saw this. I don't know what it was. It was a thing that a teacher did with a bunch of students, and he put a ball in the middle of the table, and one half of the ball was black and the other one was white. And this one person stood on the left side and the other one on the right side, and they asked the left side person, "Oh, what color is it?" "It's black." The other was like, "No, what the fuck? It's white." And they switched places, and they found out that half of the ball was exactly
perspective.
Yeah,
what you see, not necessarily what everyone else sees.
Oh, true.
You know, and that's when it's hard, when you have a vision, you have a perspective on things. You know, you go to investors and you try and pitch that vision, pitch that perspective, and they say no because they don't see it, right? So you have to kind of figure out a way to show it to them. I don't know, change the deck, add a couple of things, add a couple of customers. I don't know. But it's all about perspective. It really is. And once you nail that game and you're aware of it and how to play it, you would be able to do a lot with it for sure, in a good way.
Definitely. What makes you doubt your way of thinking?
What do you mean by doubts?
What makes you question yourself?
Like I question myself often don't get the answer. And so for example, like right now, there's a lot of work. I'm stressed out. But one of the things I'm about to do is rent a villa somewhere in Uluwatu and get a lot of my friends in. And for an entire week, maybe initially it was a month, but I reduced it to a week now. It was just to bring everybody in, just really focus and work, right? But to me, that's also like more stress on stress. Like, why am I doing that? You know, somehow I enjoy it. So when I ask myself, why did I do that right now? It can be done a bit later. I go deep in, but like I don't find the answer, but I find a feeling. The feeling is like, because that's what drives you, that there's something there, you know? I do question myself, but oftentimes it comes to nothing.
Would you say you're an emotional person?
I am very easily influenced by people, for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, I believe so. Not in like traits, but more like emotions. So if someone is sad, I'll definitely get sad. If someone is happy, I'll get happy, you know? Emotion-wise, yeah, I'm easily influenced. And even if someone sighs next to me, I would feel it. It would hit me so deep. You know, like I would feel what they're feeling, which is kind of crazy. Like sometimes I'll have someone cooking and they'll be struggling with the food or whatever, and I'll be sitting working on the other side, and I hear that sigh, and it hit me. I was like, okay, I need to put my headphones on because if I hear this again, I can't work for the rest of the day. But emotionally wise, yeah. But traits like pulling up, like taking on skills or ways of doing things, not easily, no.
I had another question. Let me think. Oh, yeah. Rather make decisions based upon emotions or rational way of thinking?
Both.
Could you explain it?
Yeah. I make decisions based on emotions and maybe not as much logic, honestly. I think I'm not logical. No, I'm not really logical at all. I don't believe. I think most of my, believe it or not, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but most of my decisions are based on emotions. And because, we are making the decision, we are executing these decisions, we are involving people to execute these decisions, and we are humans, we have emotions. Our emotions are not stable. Believe it, like whether you like it or not, your emotions will change, not on daily basis, not on hourly basis, on minute basis. The minute you're happy, another minute you're sad, like that. So you can't just build an entire strategic plan where your emotions are going to be high the entire, logically, you thinking you can force yourself to be high all the time. You can't. So to me, what do I feel like? I'm just going to do it. Somehow it just worked out, you know? Like, again, I said it was going to be a month for this villa, and within a couple of hours, I'm like, no, I think it's going to be a week. You know what I'm saying? 14 days first, and then a week. So it changes. The thing is, if you're like that, and I am like that, 100%, and I was able to make a good use of it, like I am in a good place today, it won't work if you surround yourself with people who would not understand your emotion and let you be. What I'm saying is, with this group of friends that we just agreed that we're going to do a month villa lock-in, we just did that a few hours ago. I go back to them and say it's going to be a week. They'll be like, we will figure it out. Okay, that's fine. We can do a week. But this is the group of people that I selected, that they will understand. Mm-hmm. And they will understand that you also will understand if they can't do it anymore. And you will not complain about it, bitch about it, and just be, a little mourn about it, right? As long as you have these people around you that empower you to be who you are, to be that emotional person that you are, I think you can make emotion decision work for you. And, as opposed to logical, because logical is like you create a book, you create a plan, and you have to follow it, whether you like it or not in that sense. And look, this works in a way. Going to the gym, for example, you don't want to go all the time, right? You sometimes feel down. But again, it's not necessarily the plan, it's the people around you. This guy, like yesterday, I didn't want to go, for example, I wasn't really feeling it. He pushes you. So it isn't the plan, it is the environment and the people that you surround yourself with that really matters most.
Do you feel like you understand your own emotions?
I don't believe so, no.
No?
Not fully.
Do you think it will be a thing you will understand at some point? Or are you at peace with not knowing where they come from and what they are?
I haven't thought about that, to be honest. Did you?
So I work in psychiatry, right? And I've done a few studies related to it, psychology. And I think that psychology likes to look at it from a way of nature-nurture. You know what the nature-nurture is? Nature is genetics, things you were born with. Nurture is the things you experience. Your referential frame is the term. You know referential frame? It's your framework of your life, what you've experienced and why you make certain decisions based on what you've experienced. Like, it's hard to trust people because you got stabbed in the back. That's something you experienced. It's not something you were born with. And this is a common discussion within psychology, the nature-nurture discussion. Where does certain things come from? So I think for me it's the same. Like, some people have the genetics, it's in their genes to get depressed easily. Some people have chronic depression. Some people get depression based upon trauma. It's nature-nurture. And I think with emotions, it could be the same. But I'm not completely sure. I'm open-minded, open for different perspectives, because honestly, psychology is philosophy. It's something we do not quite understand. Some people are close to understanding or had their own perspective, which were good argumentated, but I think it's a big question mark still. But yeah, I think it's a combination of nature-nurture to summarize my long story.
Is this something you practice on a daily basis?
Emotions?
Psychology?
Yeah, I work in psychiatry and I treat clients based upon their sickness, mental sickness. So if you call that learning it on a daily basis, I do, yes. I like to read books about psychology. And I think that we encounter it a lot within the podcast because our stories are divided with entrepreneurship and practical things, but also the emotional side of it. So I would say yes.
So do you believe depression is a sickness? It's a disease?
There's this book. It's called the DSM-5. It's they call it the book of all the mental diseases. So it is a disease in this book. Do I see it as a disease? I think that's more the question. In some way, yes. But in some way, no. I think I would fall back on the nature-nurture part. If you have a certain DNA pattern, whether you can easily get depressed, then I think it's a disease you could get easily, like schizophrenia, but also maybe like cancer. But if you get depressed based upon trauma, I'm not sure if it's a disease. I think it's a transaction. How do you say it in gevolg?
It's a result of what happened.
It's a result of what happened.
Consequence.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I'm not sure actually. Good question. I also had another question. What is who is your role model? What do you look up to?
I don't actually have anyone.
No?
Not really. Okay. Yeah.
Did you ever had a role model? Mm-hmm. Who was it?
Richard Branson.
I don't know him. Who is it?
Richard Branson, you know Virgin?
Virgin?
Virgin.
I know what a Virgin is, but I don't...
The company Virgin, like Virgin Airlines, Virgin,
No,
they do everything, I think.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
He was my role model. He basically the founder, CEO of... Well, founder, I don't think he's CEO anymore, of Virgin. And it was everything. He was like Virgin, I don't know, music, Virgin store, Virgin airline, Virgin trains, everything. And he was my role model because he was one of the people back in the day where I'm going to do it all. I'm going to be in every single aspect of life. I'm going to touch human in every way in that sense, right? I'm going to be the transportation. I'm going to be their, their music, their downtime, their good time, their bad time, their everything. And that field, I was like, if he did it, I can do it. And he was my role model. Yeah.
Why isn't he anymore?
Because if I want to be who I am and who I am, I can't follow someone else's path. I need to create mine. So I believed in what he opened my eyes. But it's like, you know, when in the Olympics, when you have someone with a torch running for I don't know how many kilometers until because they can't do it all the way, they give it to another person, and the other person take on the torch until the end. It's the same thing. I feel like Richard Branson, in a way, gave me that torch to a certain degree, to a certain time. It's like, now you go and do you. You understood what can be possible. You understood what can happen, and that nothing can stop you if you put your heads down to it. So now the torch is with you. You be you. Do it your way, and go to that finish line. And I feel that's why I don't really see I don't see anybody as a role model. In fact, I read no books in that sense. I don't remember reading book to the finish. And honestly, if any books I've read, it was just 3 or 4 that I haven't even finished. I just can't, number one, read the books. And number two, I feel it's not a good thing necessarily not to read these books, because it can help you understand things that may be happening right now that you can solve easily by understanding someone else's perspective. But I chose that path. I chose this way. I chose the way to learn through experience, because if somebody were able to make something work or not work, you might be able to take that exact thing and make it work. Because it's all about the execution, or it's all about the circle that you have around you. It's all about the belief, the emotion decision. Are you doing decisions based on emotion or logic or whatever? There's a lot of factors, a lot of elements. And I decided to I think I can make it work if it's my way, and I'm going to learn along the way. So I've learned a lot for sure, and I'm just giving it its time. But yeah.
I think you're a very intelligent person. If you don't read books, where do you get your knowledge? Is it all from experience?
Yeah, it's by basically doing what everyone's telling you to do. It's doing it and failing. You fail, you learn, you come up again, right? And that's how I learn. I learn it firsthand. I see it firsthand. I feel it firsthand. And it's exactly the same way. Like, you can read the book, but remember, there's a saying, and you might resonate with you. It's like, if you write things down, the chance of them being engraved in your head, memorizing them would be easier, would be faster, right? Because you're writing them down. You're physically doing something with these words. You're not just remembering them. And I think it's the same thing with this. It's like, if you actually do it, you will learn from it firsthand, and it will be engraved in you. It will build you. You know what I'm saying? And I just chose that path to do it that way. Yeah.
Don't you think that a lot of failures you made along the way, or you can also call them learning opportunities, of course, but they come with consequences. Don't you think a lot of that could have been prevented if you could have learned from people who already did a similar thing?
Yes, prevented. But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to prevent something. I'm looking to experience it, because that's how I'm going to actually know what I'm talking about and what I'm doing. And next time I do it, I know it firsthand, right? I felt it. So when I accepted this offer with ClickUp, I did not negotiate much. I was very open-minded about it. I was like, let's do it, whatever. This is the deal. This is the deal. I only negotiated a little bit. And part of it was actually to shut down my business, my Plutio app, after a year. And then a year later, I actually went in and was like, guys, can I keep Plutio, please? And they said yes, because the guy is amazing behind ClickUp, and he allowed me to keep Plutio without any changes whatsoever to the deal. That made me realize I could have basically, now I can actually keep it. If I negotiated, I could keep it. Yes, I could have read a book that tells me, hey, you need to negotiate. But what if the book really knew I had a business and I was working with this particular person with this particular traits and particular, way of thinking, and in this country and these learnings? There's so many different elements. The book will not get it. The book will give you an overview. Basically, the books should not be looked at as rules. People do that. People read a book, it's like, I will do this, I will do this, I will do this exactly as written. But no, you should be reading this, and taking it as a benchmark, taking it as something that you would basically balance it around whatever you're working on, and balance all the other elements with it. It's an ingredient that should be part of all the other ingredients, that mix, right? To make that decision, as opposed to I'm just going to take that ingredient and use that only. You know what I'm saying? So now, next time I'm going to negotiate, I know there are cards in my favor. I can play these cards in that sense. And I would not have known that if I didn't if I didn't go through this myself. So yeah.
Do you often feel alone?
Yeah, but not as often as I used to, for sure.
What makes you feel alone?
Good question. Not being around people, I guess. The right type of people, for sure.
You're surrounded by people a lot of times, right?
I am. Yeah, I do surround myself with a lot of people. Not a lot of people like everybody, but I surround myself with the right people.
But yet you feel alone sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
How come?
I can't really 100% pin down the reason.
Does it bother you?
No, not as much as it used to be before. It used to be a big thing before for me, and that's one of the reasons I used to get depressed, but not anymore. No.
Do you think that is why you surround yourself with people a lot of the time?
It isn't the only reason. No, because like I said before, I surround myself with people to give me the energy as well. That energy that fuels you, and it's just one of the reasons, but it's not the whole thing.
Does it bother you that you feel sometimes like this?
Not really. Like I said, it used to bother me, but honestly, once you start embracing these things and understand that they're part of life, they're not something you should be fighting. It's something that you should be understanding and embracing. And you don't necessarily have to fully dig into it and understand every aspect of it. But as long as you can just keep it, because it is part of us. You have to feel lonely sometimes. You have to feel down sometimes, just like you would feel happy sometimes, not all the time, It is just part of us. And once you realize that, it's not depression anymore. It's just, I'm down. I'm feeling lonely today. Okay.
It's fine.
You're not going to feel lonely in the next couple of hours. Mm-hmm. You're okay now. And, yeah. So it doesn't really bother me anymore. And I understand it's part of our human behavior. And we can't change our human behavior like that. It will make us non-human anymore, which we most likely be working towards, to be honest, right now. But yeah.
Did you recently move out of the chapter?
Of which chapter?
Feeling alone sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you still often feel anxious, maybe?
Yeah.
What makes you feel anxious?
When so remember when I told you everything happens at the right time? Mm-hmm. Sometimes before bed, for example, I'll be I was just about to sleep, or I'm waking up, just about to wake up, or I'll be just zoned out into the wild, and I can start seeing visions in the sense of okay, I can see this, and I can see, Pluto Airlines or whatever. And I see these things right in my head, and I see them happening, and I'm like, I want this now, right now. I want to wake up and I want to make this happen right now. And that makes me anxious because you can't make it right now, right? So I get these moments where I want what I'm going to have in 5 years today. And that stresses the hell out of me. But then it calms down. So I get these sometimes, but it comes out of not being able to, being able to see the vision, but not touch the vision. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Would you say you're seeking control in your daily life?
I have to be in control for most of the time. I have employees that I have to tell what to do, and
besides business.
Yeah,
you'd like to have control?
Not always, for sure. Most of the cases, yes. Especially in a group setting, sometimes as well. If you want to do something, I just take control and do it, and everyone follows along. Otherwise, it's never going to happen. Because I don't like inefficiency. Mm-hmm. We're going to do something. We agreed as a group we're going to do something. We have to do it in that sense. Let's just do it. Otherwise, we're going to spend the entire time talking about it. So I've built myself to a level where I have the resources and the ability to just be able to do whatever needs to be done, and everyone will happily tag along in that sense. So control plays a huge part in my life, and it has been, but not forever. Again, I was rebellious, because I didn't have the control, right? Mm-hmm. And today I have that control, but it's not something that it's not 90%. Sometimes I'd like others to take that control, Yeah.
I think emotions you can't always control. Mm-mm. Was it ever a challenge for you? To letting the control go of your emotions? Or was that never a challenge?
I think it's always a challenge.
Yeah?
I think it's always a challenge in a way. Yeah, maybe.
What is your biggest challenge today?
My biggest challenge today, I guess, is figuring out how to balance my full time at ClickUp and my position at Plutio, and see a way that I can make them work both. And I think I figured it out, but it's been a challenge for a while.
And personally?
Personally, there's a few challenges. Number one is gym. It's a challenge for me on relatively daily basis. Understanding that game is still ongoing.
That game of the gym.
Like what is gym? Is it just going to work out in a gym? Is this it? You know, or is this maybe why I'm getting into calisthenics? Maybe because like I can just work out from anywhere. I don't actually have to waste my time going into the gym and coming back from the gym and things like that. So maybe that's why calisthenics. You know, opening my mind to something, to achieving the same goals, but in a different path, through a different path, right? That's another challenge that I'm on right now, trying to figure out what is gym? Why do we do it in that sense? Like, I understand we do it for health reasons, to get bigger and things like that. But is this the only way to do it, or is there other ways to do it? That's a challenge, you know. There are a few other challenges, but yeah, it's always ongoing, right? And there's always new challenges. You hit ones, you finish ones, you move on to the rest, to the new ones, and so on.
I'm happy that's the case.
How come?
Because I think a challenge gives you purpose. Depends on how you deal with the challenge.
Yeah, I guess so.
If there's an inspiring, aspiring entrepreneur watching, someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, what do you think is the first thing they should ask themselves before they start?
See, I posted a video not long ago, and I said today it's easier than ever to be able to build an online business and make money online. You don't have to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can make what you make from your job right now, which is relatively speaking, I don't know, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, right? And I got, like, the tools are free. Resources are free. You can learn things online. We have access to things we never had access to before. We have far more leverage than we ever had, right? And I got a stream of questions like, teach me how, tell me how. I wish I sold us a course. But, it comes down to two things: curiosity and questioning it. As in, like, be actually curious about the how. And number two, ask. Start asking these questions. The thing is, you don't need to ask your dad, you don't need to ask your friends, you don't need to ask a founder who's done it before anymore. Because a lot of us don't have access to these things in that sense, right? Go and ask ChatGPT or something like that, because now you have access. And this is what I'm saying, it's easier than ever. You can actually have, if you just sit down on your weekend, you know, on one day of that weekend, lock yourself into the house, get nice coffee, couple of nice stuff, snacks or whatever, and just talk to ChatGPT the entire day. And don't leave until it's clicked, right? Because it will click. Tell it who you are, what you do, what you're into, have a conversation with it, and see what kind of ideas it will float your way. And I promise, most of the time, it will just, you like, okay, maybe I can do this. Maybe it comes down to just you creating Notion templates, or, I don't know, like learning how to edit using AI, edit videos using AI, you know, and then reach out to people who are just starting out to create these videos, DM them. It's like, I can edit videos for you. You know what I'm saying? Because learning that skill takes nothing. AI will do it for you. But there are people who know AI exists, they just don't have the time to do it, right? So you can do it for them. I get these DMs all the time. I love your content. Can I do edits for free for you? And if you like it, you pay me. I love these people because they went through curiosity. They figured it out. They figured out that they can actually learn this skill super fast within a couple of days' time, because AI can do most of the work for them, right? And there is someone for everyone in that sense. You know what I'm saying? So be curious and ask these questions. You don't have to overthink it. Ask ChatGPT, which is pretty much free as well, right? And there are other free resources that you can tap into. So yeah, you can make your $100 online, your first $100 online. You absolutely can. You just need to actually be serious about it. Don't just ask people about it. Be serious about it. Be disciplined about it. Take the day off. in that sense, like your weekend off, instead of going outside and meeting friends, stay in and do exactly that.
All right. So if I'm going to follow up your advice, I'm going to give you my case, what I'm working on, what is on my head, and I'm going to ask how you would do it. All right. So when I'm going back to the Netherlands, I'm going to move to Berlin in October. I love going to the gym. I'd love to help people, inspire people, whether it's personal brand on Instagram where I'm working on, creating UGC content, giving personal training within calisthenics, as long as it's helping people. How would you work remotely or without a bus in a place like Berlin?
So can you repeat the question? Working remotely on what exactly?
One of these things, by example, building a personal brand, or combining it with personal training and building a community around it.
So you're a trainer. You want to build a personal brand around training, coaching, things like that.
Yeah.
Are you targeting coaches, like trainers, or are you targeting people who are looking to be trained?
People who are looking to be trained.
To be trained.
Yeah.
So you're going to be like someone who they would trust, to follow, your steps, basically. Like, here's what you should be doing, here's what you should be eating, and things like that. So you need to build that trust, right? Do you think you built that trust already?
Partly, yeah.
Partly. Okay, so why Berlin?
Because my girlfriend's living there.
Your girlfriend lives there. What does your girlfriend do?
She's a primary school teacher and a DJ.
So she can't travel.
No.
She's fixated there.
Pretty much, yeah.
How long have you been together?
9 months now.
You've been how long in Bali?
1 month.
1 month. And you're leaving soon?
Thursday.
When are you coming back?
No date planned yet.
No date. So staying here for a month, you were in a long distance relationship.
Yeah.
Nice. For a month, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. How was that?
Fucked up.
Fucked up. Why?
Because I missed her. That's nice. It's a nice question because it gets personal. How do you say it?
I feel we know why. The interaction, the touches, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, true. That's the missing part. But I'm the literal translation is the fear of abandonment. I've got a certain
She would leave
anxiety that she will leave me.
She would leave you because it's long distance.
Not only because it's long distance, I also have it when I'm in the Netherlands.
So you feel, even if you're in the Netherlands,
I still feel it.
you still feel it.
Yeah, but it gets worse in Bali because I'm further and I feel like I have less control, even though I know that I have no control at all.
See, the thing is, in your position, you don't necessarily have to do it online. And again, you're in a relationship. You do understand that being in a relationship, that does mean you have to sacrifice some things, correct?
Yeah.
That could be sacrificing you working remotely, unfortunately, unless you break up and you go on your own and figure it out until you can fund both of you to travel the world, if you will.
True.
Right? You can't have everything all at once. You just can't. It's impossible. But when you're starting out, you can't. So you need to figure out the MVP, not for a product, but for you, taking these steps, step by step. What is the first step that I can do right now based on my circumstance? Breaking up my girlfriend? I don't think that necessarily, like, I don't think that's what you should be doing necessarily, because you can still achieve what you're trying to achieve by taking a different path towards the same steps, right? So what I'm saying is, you're a personal trainer. You're really good with kinesthetics. You're starting to do it on Instagram and things like that. You could potentially secure a couple of clients locally in Germany. So you can still live with your girlfriend in Germany and have clients physically with you. But as long as you're aware that having these clients locally isn't the long-term plan, but it's part of the plan. In a sense, I'll have these clients so we have a source of income. Now I'm making money. I'm close to my girlfriend. We live together in Germany. Happily ever after in that sense. Now, what is next? So you have to have the next step. So if you achieve this step and you feel comfortable around it and everything seems okay, now you trigger step 2, right? And that's for you to figure. It's a long-term strategy. Yeah. But step 2 can be, okay, now I'm making enough money. I saved up enough money. Maybe she can teach online, right? What did she teach? Did you say?
This is primary school teacher.
Primary school teacher. Yep. Does she speak any other languages?
English.
English? Yeah. Very good.
I would say, yeah.
I mean, she could learn something online, you know? How long has she been doing it for? A while?
I think a couple of years.
I don't know, in our age, when we do something for that long, I think we get to a level where, okay, what is next for me as well? So maybe she's also at a time in a year from now, it could be easier for her to question that in the sense, okay, maybe I can do something online. Maybe I can do what I'm doing right now in Bali and teach these kids, and feel more of a different way of fulfillment. I'm actually teaching kids that don't know how to speak English or German. You know what I'm saying? And because you will find people here who would need this set of skills. You'll find them everywhere. There's someone for everyone in that sense. And when I mean someone, it doesn't necessarily mean one person, but it can be, a collective. So step by step, and do it. Think through it as an MVP, right? And what the pros and cons, and what can I sacrifice, what can't I sacrifice, and you will come to the answer.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Then,
to the final question?
Yes.
You can ask it.
What would one piece of final advice be from you to the listener?
Okay, I don't know who the listeners are, but I will tell the young ones that they are still studying and they're about to figure it out in that sense, and they're about to take a gap year. Because I hear this quite a lot. I'm going to take a gap year to Cyprus or Europe, and I'm going to work behind the bar or as a waiter to figure myself out. I want to find myself, right? And hopefully, once I go back, I know what I'm going to study for university. But why? Why are you taking an entire year when you're young? You're most likely financially supported, and you have the freedom and opportunity to work behind a bar or as a waiter to find yourself. Instead of spending it finding yourself, maybe you should be finding your thing and spend not even the year, 3 months, fully locked in to find your thing. Vibe code, learn online, see what you can actually do, see what you know and how you can leverage it to make money from it online, right? Figure that out, as in finding your thing, because it's more powerful than finding yourself. You know who you are in a way, right? And it's going to be a long journey for you to find yourself, because yourself is not going to be the same 2 years from now, 3 years from now. Yourself is always evolving. You're always finding yourself, right? So don't fixate on finding yourself right now. Be fixated on finding your thing, especially in today's world, because you could most likely figure out a way to level up your life before it even started by taking that gap year or some of that gap year to find your thing. You could literally level it up. You can build an app that could sell for $1 million or make you so much money in that sense, or a little bit of money that you don't need to go to university anymore. And the thing is, I don't agree with universities unless you're going to be an engineer, a doctor, someone specialized, right? Unless you're going to be specialized, don't go to university, but spend that time actually figuring out your thing, because you might not even need to figure out what you're going to study, because you have something now that you can work on and double down on, right? So that would be my take on it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being a guest.
Of course.
Where can people find you?
I guess Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Leo Bassam or Luai Bassam, Loai Bassam.
How's your name pronounced? Leo, right?
My real name, Luai Bassam, but I call myself Leo.
Okay. All right.
Then I would say, stay inspired, motivated, and focused on your goals. Thanks for listening to Muscle Up, and see you in the next episode.